Snow drifted across the military base like torn pages from a forgotten winter story, but Lieutenant Mara Hayes barely noticed. She stood at the commander's door, voice steady but eyes carrying weeks of exhaustion. She wasn't asking for much, just permission to go home for Christmas. Just one day, one chance to see her father, whose trembling voice on the phone last night had told her he didn't know how many holidays he had left, but the commander's answer had been a stone dropped into a frozen lake. Denied. We're understaffed. You're needed here. She nodded, but her heart cracked in the quiet hallway. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The next morning began with a strange silence. Usually the base buzzed with activity before dawn, but today it felt like something was holding its breath. Mara stepped outside, the cold biting her cheeks, and watched the sky fade pink behind distant barracks. She tried to stay focused, but her father's voice haunted her, soft, strained, hopeful, and hers had been apologetic, promising she'd try, promising what she couldn't deliver. Inside the operations room, her fellow soldiers whispered. They weren't mocking her, they were quietly hurting for her. Everyone knew she'd carried more than her share of the load this year, yet none knew what she would decide next. By noon, a call crackled through the radio. An emergency search and rescue drill gone wrong. A training team was stranded beyond the ridge with a damaged vehicle. Temperatures dropping fast. Every second mattered. The base scrambled, but with limited personnel. The commander hesitated. Mara didn't. Her hand shot up. I'll lead the recovery team. There was a beat of stunned silence. Yesterday she asked to go home. Today she volunteered for the hardest task on the coldest day of the year. Some thought she was proving a point. Others thought she was trying to outrun heartache. Only she knew the truth. If she couldn't be home for Christmas, she could make sure someone else made it safely back. The journey across the frozen landscape was brutal. Wind stung like needles. Snow erased the world into white nothingness. But Mara pushed forward, her team moving with synchronized precision, boots crunching, ropes slamming against ice, tools striking metal in sharp, rhythmic unity. She refused to let the cold slow her. Moral tension gnawed at her, whispering she was choosing the base over her father. But she kept going, because courage doesn't always fit into one choice. Sometimes it's 1,000 small ones. Hours later, they reached the stranded team, shivering, exhausted, and on the brink of hypothermia. Mara's voice cut through the panic like a guiding light. Orders crisp, movements confident, spirit unwavering. And when one soldier collapsed into the snow, she scooped him up without hesitation. The team moved like a tide, following her lead back through the storm. When they emerged at the base, headlights slicing through the night, a hush rolled through the waiting crowd. Then something extraordinary happened. The entire base, every rank, every uniform, every cold and weary soul stood to attention. Not because she saved lives, though she did. Not because she led with flawless precision, though she had. But because she chose honor over comfort, service over self, humanity over convenience. The commander stepped forward, eyes glassy with the kind of pride he rarely showed. Lieutenant Hayes, he said quietly, you've earned your Christmas. By sunrise, she was on a plane home, and when she walked through her father's door, wind-chapped, exhausted, smiling through tears, he embraced her as though the years had folded into one perfect moment. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And as snow drifted outside her childhood window, she realized the truth she had carried all along. Sometimes the journey you didn't choose leads you exactly where you were meant to be. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more powerful stories, and remember, acts of courage are small, but their echoes are massive. Tap the subscribe button and keep the stories alive.